Hello, my name is Fox Booker. I thank you all for being here today and the amazing turnout from the public. When we use terms like diversity, I prefer the term inclusion. Just putting the statement there doesn't make it happen. Diversity and inclusion are things that are going to practice time and time again to be perfected. I would ask this body to look at the membership makeup of the body that is creating this mission statement about inclusion. If you're going to maybe best utilize this new committee that was formed to work on inclusion, maybe you should table it and pass it off to them to give suggestions and revisit that later. Thank you.
Other comments, suggestions?
Thank you for allowing public comment. I would like to see in the statement also a specific statement about safety. Welcoming isn't sufficient. I think there should be a statement about safety and specifically a statement against the inclusion of hate groups.
I would agree with both of the first two speakers, but I have another question related to food security. Bloomington has a history of having problems with PCBs and dioxins in our soils and in our floodplains that flow to switch our park. What are we doing to address that food security?
That is definitely beyond the purview of this group.
My name is Amanda Sheridan, and I completely agree with the speakers that have gone. And I also wanted to say that I feel it's important that the market's mission includes the values of Monroe County. So if someone is violating what we feel are the values that are the basis of Monroe County, they are also violating the market's values.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last stand. If they are violating the Monroe County's values, they must violate the market's values.
If they're violating Monroe County's values, they're violating the county's the values of the phone.
Other comments, suggestions?
Do we have the current one on hand?
I don't have it with me. It's available on the website. It refers to, the first part is more specific to farmers, so securing a local food source and enriching the community. So, and one thing I just want to add is we can definitely change the name of prepared food vendors to food and beverage artisans, so for future reference. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ellen Wu. I just wanted to second the previous comments about having a more robust and substantive response that is reflected in the statement. So I don't really need to know how you came to this particular statement, but one thing I did notice when I did come in the room that it is an all-white panel. So I just want to encourage the council to make sure that there's input from different communities, especially minority communities in our town. Thank you.
May I ask a question? I've been on the council this is my 6th year. Every year, Marshall puts out notices that we need new people on the council. How would you suggest that we don't have many people ever apply. How can we get the word out to attract a more diverse group? I mean, this is who's applying.
Have you reached out directly to other groups, like Black Lives Matter or the Latino Commission? Yeah. The Latino Commission. Have you directly reached out to any of those groups to say we have these positions open and we would like to fill them with diversity?
So we have not in the past, we certainly will in the future.
I'm speaking on behalf of Lisa Marie. First comment is non-Caucasian, all who walk in, deciding inclusiveness is not inclusive, and we're marginalized members, is the first comment. And the second one is welcoming an inclusive atmosphere that promotes safety, social interaction, and civic growth is a recommendation to add to the mission statement. Yeah, just the all of them, or? I'm sorry? The last one is welcoming an inclusive atmosphere that promotes safety, social interaction, and civil and civic growth.
Other suggestions for this? Sure. Yeah.
It's a really quick silent vote. I do agree with the good idea to let the broad inclusion committee have a look.
Okay, Vice, thank you.
Hi, how are you? I was interested in this statement, and as someone who's gone to the market quite a bit over the last couple of years, and as a single mom, I'd just like to say the prices are really high. So if you're talking about being inclusive, if there's any way to make the food more affordable, I mean, there are a lot of folks who aren't on WIC and aren't on food stamps, and still, the budgets are tight. So when it's, a pastry is $5, that's a lot. A loaf of bread is $8, a whole lot of people in Bloomington just can't afford that, even middle class folks. And I know the produce and everything that's sold at the market is really wonderful, the quality is great. But if there's any way to make it more affordable, I think that would be the absolute best way to make the market more inclusive. Because who's at the market every Saturday? It's upper middle class folks, households with 2 incomes, 2 professional people in a household, people who have their homes paid off a long time ago and haven't moved to Bloomington recently and have to pay rent and mortgages the way the real estate prices are now. Also, I am in the minority in this room, but I don't think I'm in the minority in Monroe County when saying I would like a really inclusive market. If we're going to talk about no hate groups, let's go down that road. I don't want Planned Parenthood there. I'm Christian, like a whole lot of people in this county, the majority. Margaret Sanger founded Planned Parenthood, I don't know if anyone knows the history of Margaret Sanger. Google Margaret Sanger and the Negro Project. She wanted the extermination of colored folk. So let's not have Black Lives Matter either, okay? A lot of violence against cops coming out of Black Lives Matter. So if we're gonna go down that slippery slope, you're gonna be banning a whole lot of groups. So I think that's, I would think twice about that. And I would like to see a more inclusive market, and that includes inclusion of all, including Christians, okay? Including all kinds of people. But I think the best way to make it really welcoming to all people is to think we make the food a little bit more affordable so we can all afford to shop there and support our farmers. So thank you all for your work. I appreciate it.
Well, I've heard lots of, one is to concerns about who's drafting the statement and to allow the broad inclusion committee to have input, which I'm absolutely not opposed to and kind of like that idea. So I just wonder with the advisory committee if that is something, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that particular.
I think we should table this until we get input from the inclusion committee.
Yes.
I just want to make a quick correction to the last comment, because I think it was hyperbole and shifted the discussion away from that statement. The implication that Christians are not welcome in the market, I think is sort of off topic. I'm a Christian, I go to the market. Bloomington has a huge Christian population that shows up at the market. So I just want to make a statement that I think that was a red herring, and I think it should be noted as such. This is on behalf of Lisa Marie, who still can't talk. She wants to know who is on the inclusive committee, but she also wants to point out that Bloomington is always saying that it is a safe and civil city. And so she would like to add that language into the mission statement. And as for me, I would just like to reiterate that as long as we have neo-Nazi hate groups in the market vending and recruiting and donating money directly to a vendor who belongs to a neo-Nazi hate group, we will have protests in the market. They're not going to stop.
This statement, and then we still have other things, so we're going to have to move on after this statement.
Okay, yeah, someone I guess brought up religious groups, and let's go there. So I'm personally I'm Jewish, been confirmated, and I have some input about that. There are religious groups that I guess by hate groups are directly affected by having Nazi hate vendors. There's there's one particular vendor where kind of like it's the elephant in the room. We should consider like if there's hate activity, we should verify whether the activity exists. There's been reports by groups such as No Space for Hate, and if there's something similar about say like Planned Parenthood, well, I'd like to see a report, I'd like to see it verified, and, the applications go in for vendors, and we should make a good decision. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm Shankar J. I represent Shawnee Hill Farms. I heard a few of your comments, right? So I wanted to share what I know. In the different markets we are in, some had a flat fee. Some also had a fee based on how much you made in the market, percent of what you have made in the market, right? So I'm not sure what the discrepancy or cost differential is between the food vendors and the actual farmers. How can we not lower the barrier to entry for the food artisans, but at the same time, if they made more than certain dollars for their day, they then pay the extra amount as a percentage of their profits. That way, you can balance saying that, hey, we didn't have enough people coming to the market, but we paid excess and we didn't make the money. So what you do is you lower the barrier to entry and then have that surcharge on them for breaking more than what they would have expected to sell. Some are just, that's it.
What I heard is that the vendors are saying they're charged too much.
We permitted to make general comments now? Yeah, okay, thank you. I forgot to introduce myself, my other comments. I'm Anna Lynch, been living in Bloomington since '95, a homeowner since '98. And I just wanted to make a comment in regard to the issue of white supremacy in the market. I really would encourage the Market Advisory Board in the city to take advantage of the resources that No Space for Hate is delivering. They're doing really solid research and really well-written reports about the white supremacy and making the connections that I think the community isn't hearing. And so if Abby, who's here and began that table, for those of us who've been inspired by her work and trying to support it, I think particularly in a town like Bloomington that is so anchored to the university and the value of research and data and analysis, I think we're poorly served if we don't leverage the work that No Space for Hate has been doing. And when we talk about the ongoing pressure and presence that will continue as long as white supremacy is allowed in the market, I think those of us who are going to participate in that pressure, we rely very much on the No Space for Hate group to give us that space to do so. So I encourage you to partner with her and not go up again, not try and be in conflict with her, because it's really good work. Thank you.
As a business owner, we've spent some time over the last couple of weeks trying to decide what we want to do for 2020. And I feel like there's two main hurdles to the decision that we're making. One is attendance and drop in sales. That's been shared by all vendors. And so I feel like that's a PR problem. We have a public relations problem with the community. The community needs to decide if they want to support local food or not. And so one ask would be some action items on public relations and marketing for the market. I saw in the budget that $1,200 is what you're spending. I'd like to see that go up in some capacity. I have some ideas. Our room was full of ideas at the last vendor meeting. Bruce heard all of them, so I won't take up a lot of time with rehashing PR ideas. The second is agreeing in February to stay at the market until October. That's a really tough decision to make right now when there's so many unknowns about what sales are going to look like, what the atmosphere is going to be like. And so I would like to ask you to look at not changing the fee structure, but looking at a different payment plan for the fees. Maybe pay 2 months at a time, have a spring, summer, fall, allow us to decide if we want to continue participating in the market. One issue I have is that the city's done collecting our money in February. So you have no skin in the game to make sure customers keep showing up because you've made your money for the year. I don't like the idea of paying a percentage of sales, but I'd almost be willing to entertain it because then your money goes up when our money goes up. And so I'd at least like the opportunity to maybe pay a few times throughout the year and make decisions based on how the year's progressing, not try to decide in February what I want to do in October. So, thank you. Thank you guys for being so open to listening to all of us all season. I really appreciate that.
Well, we're at just past 7, and I know a couple people have to go, so anybody that needs to go should feel free to go. Awesome.
But I do want to talk about why I haven't been at the market. My name's Amy Countryman. I have a lot of questions, and I wasn't able to be at the October meeting, so maybe you all already answered all these questions. I don't know. But I'm really curious how much sales and customer counts are down for this season since white supremacy was made public at the market. I think that's information that the public deserves to know. That's information that is directly affecting all the businesses. And this is an opportunity for Bloomington to make choices about how it moves forward. Maybe the market gets privatized. Maybe the market continues. Maybe, there's already an alternative east side market happening. Maybe other markets pop up. But I think that's information that should be made public and should be shared publicly so that vendors can make decisions, because it's been made really clear by a lot of protesters that they're not going away. And so for vendors to have to decide now whether they're going to go to the market next year, they need to know what kind of situation they're getting into. And I know these decisions are hard and they take a long time to make, but where are we right now? I'm looking at you, Marcia. So that's one question that I have that I would really like an answer to. I guess I also want to know what is the drop dead date that the city is going to decide what happens with the market in April?
I think you were not here yet when Paula McDevitt opened up.
Yeah, I was a little late.
Okay.
So maybe you guys already answered
quite
all
all
this.
right. But yeah, Paula shared with everybody here that there's no set timeline. However, we are very cognizant of the fact that vendors need information to make decisions and are working diligently to get things in order so that decisions can be made and communicated. So we are still, there's still some level of public input coming in, but by and large, we've received a lot, and that's being reviewed, and it's being analyzed, and it's being, and we're, working with the city departments to figure out the best path forward.
And can you speak to the other question about, how much has the city spent on increased security? How much has the customer count gone down? Like, what is really the cost of white supremacy at the market?
So I can't answer specifically that. I can tell you attendance is about half. And as far as vendors, we don't have information on sales from farm vendors. We do have that from prepared food vendors. And I did look at, it's because of the 10%. And so I looked at their fees this year compared to last year. And, you know, I included a little bit of estimating because there was a couple vendors who I didn't have their September fee information. So I guessed based on the patterns. And then since the market was closed for 2 Saturdays in August, I removed 2 Saturdays from the 18 information. And the prepared food vendor fees are actually a little bit, fees as in, as it relates to their sales, is actually slightly higher than last year at this point. So, yeah.
That's a big surprise. Yeah, that's maybe because we have more vendors, because it's impossible.
30% is the number that was given in the vendor fee for the general users.
For prepared food vendors, 30% for prepared.
Fair to understand that it's the whole atmosphere of the market which really uses everything, not one.
Right, but the whole general atmosphere of the market can be traced back to one particular thing, and that's the thing that I really want this council to address.
Okay, motion to adjourn. Real quick, pass time.
I know everybody wants to go, but I think it would be really helpful when the Parks Board considers the fee issue, if there was any kind of statement on behalf of the advisory council. And so I know that we can't agree on anything specific. I've heard a couple of different opinions. I've kind of heard generally some sentiment that farmers don't want to see their fees go up, and that we made a good case. Maybe our fee should be less. I don't know if it's possible to make a somewhat not specific statement as a group that could be adopted in support of lower fees for prepared food vendors. I'd ask if you wouldn't mind taking a few minutes and see if you can agree to a motion on that.